8 years ago, I sat in a restaurant in Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark, a Christmas market treat with some friends after a very busy period at work. Halfway through the meal, I felt unease in my lower body. Unease, which moments later would feel like a volcano erupting in my nether regions. I went pale. I was cold in the seat as a warmth of liquid hit my legs. For what seemed like an eternity, I sat still, frozen in fear. Eventually, I had the courage to put my head under the table. As you may know, perimenopause is an inevitable roller coaster of hormonal upheaval that happens before menopause. When I put my head under the table, I was met with a deluge of blood that soaked not only me, but the rustic wooden bench I sat upon. Hello, perimenopause. On a freezing November night, I left that restaurant with my jacket around my waist and my head hanging with embarrassment. Little did I know at the time, gone were the days of wearing white trousers. But I decided I would fight it. I was only 44. I wasn't ready for this. No, not yet. But perimenopause, had other ideas. 3 weeks later, I was presenting to visiting management from New York. This was a big deal. As a director in investment banking, I was capable and confident. I was used to meetings and presentations. No sweat on that front. In the room were 2 visiting executives, 5 of our own management team, myself, and 1 other. Uninvited, unexpected, and soon to arrive guest. My menopause. Just moments into my presentation, every piece of information I was hoping to present that day flew out of my head. Cue, brain fog, memory loss, shame. Anxiety and menopause in collision. My stomach sank. Shame in front of my peers for a few moments, but thankfully my manager saved me. But menopause was here to stay. Still today, when I think of that day, my stomach churns. The rage and frustration with what was happening in my body, trying to understand menopause and the challenges. Over the next few days, I reflected, and I realized that I needed to sit with what was happening in my body, but also in how I was processing this change. You see, I realized I was fighting it. I was fighting menopause. Let me talk for a few brief moments about Mondays. Those days of the week, every week, that many of us dread. We all feel that, don't we? But Mondays always pay us a visit. And it was then I realized menopause was like Monday. There was no reason to dread it, to fight it. It was going to come anyway. Over the next while, I decided it was a period I needed to strip menopause right back so I could really understand it, so that I could support my body through these years. 8 years on, let me share what has happened and what I've done. But before I do that, you might be thinking, this woman's nuts. Why would I want to get excited about hot flushes, drenching night sweats, loss of libido, weight gain, insomnia, and much more? But what if I was to tell you it can bring opportunity? Menopause can be a very rewarding and empowering stage in our lives. It offers an opportunity to look at where we're at in our lives, to assess, and also prepare for the years ahead. So what has that done for me? It changed my life. I'd like to share with you 4 things that helped me to do that. And I'd encourage you to consider these for you yourself also. Number 1 is find your passion. If you told me 8 years ago I'd be doing a TEDx on menopause, I would have said, yeah, right. But I found my passion. I found my purpose. Now I work every day with people and workplaces, educating them and empowering them with fact-based information on menopause. That's me. What could it do for you? And then what about the anxiety, the rage, the frustration, the overwhelm with the amount of information that you may see in relation to menopause? Can we rechannel these emotions, this energy? I use that energy to rechannel. And that brings us to number 2, deepen your education. I armed myself with as much information as possible so I could understand the many choices available, from HRT to alternative therapies to lifestyle. And that information, when I used it, helped me enormously as I moved through these years. The ever-changing symptoms of menopause means that you have to adapt and change your treatment as you go through these years. When you have the information that allows you to do that. And one key little thing to remember, find trusted resources. And when you do, just take one piece of information at a time. Avoid overwhelm. The changes that happen in menopause will be unique to every single person on the planet. But what unites us all? And that brings me to number 3, support. Get support. I found my tribe, and the people here support me every day. The menopause conversation should not be a conversation of embarrassment or shame, because menopause is a natural process that happens over 50% of the population at a certain stage in life. It is really important to be open about what you're experiencing and have support. Find your tribe through your family, your work colleagues, your friends, your current friends and new friends, your doctor. Build your tribe around you. And having that support will help you with number 4. And that is letting go. Menopause, we know, can be a time of great change. And we often hear the saying, when one door closes, another door opens. I can vividly remember in the early years of perimenopause, the sadness I felt when I realized I'd no longer feel the soft twirl of kicking legs in my tummy. That can be a grief, even if you haven't had children. To quote Dr. Maureen Gaffney, we have to go back in order to go forwards. We have to go. Change is hard. Menopause is change. If we embrace how we move through these years, and if we flow with the changes that happen, as opposed to going against the tide, this becomes an easier journey. And all the while, it is important to remember self-compassion, empathy, kindness to yourself as you go through these years. We are lucky to be alive, to smell the trees, to feel the wind on our face, to breathe. I appreciate every living day now more than I've ever done before. And yes, my body frustrates me, and I constantly strive to support it as best I can through good food, deep sleeps, plenty of exercise, support, and lots of laughter. And I've discovered if we embrace these 4 pillars, that of finding your passion, deepening your education, having support, and letting go, it can bring us to that Friday feeling that people also speak about, where we have the energy restored, where we have the vitality, the ambition, the go, the get up and go, to look excited and to look forward about the days ahead. Just the other day, I was unpacking some Christmas decorations from that infamous trip to the Christmas markets in Copenhagen. And I can safely say they make me smile now. For every ripple I've experienced along this journey, it's brought me to where I am today. I'd encourage you to reframe your menopause and be open to where it can bring you. Thank you.